Welcome back. You are listening to the Mari Mokwanda Show on Salam Media. So, getting a car is, well, it might make you feel independent, and it does really make you independent, gives you the freedom to go to places, to not worry about having to travel in taxis and Ubers and cars that are not yours. It makes you free, free to do the things that you couldn't do when you did not have a car. But getting a car, acquiring a car is not an easy feat. You can either go through the route of saving money and then purchasing your first car. Obviously, that will take longer than a normal, or you can go through the car financing route. But there is so much that we still need to learn before we can decide to take a car through car financing. So, joining me on the line right now is our money coach, author, and certified financial advisor, Busi Selesho. Good morning, Busi. Busi, Busi, can you hear me? Okay, I don't know if Busi can hear me or not. While the technical team get on that issue, if you have any comments or questions for Busi Selesho, you may leave them in the comments section below, or you can send them to us on WhatsApp. The number is 0617660355. 0617660355, and we are talking about car financing. If you have been a person who took out a car on finance, let us know how it went. Do you have any regrets? Would you do things differently if given a chance? Busi, good morning. Busi, can you hear me? Okay, I'm not sure why Busi cannot hear me. All right, it seems like Busi was cut off, but we're going to try and get her back on the line. Mm, for me, there's a lot that, okay, she is back on the line. There's just so much that goes on with car financing, which freaks me out. And I'm like, I don't want to have to purchase a car now and not know how I'm going to pay for it. In fact, the fact that I work in freelance kind of makes it even more challenging for me, as I'm not sure when I'm going to work and when I won't work. So being or taking on a huge responsibility like a car finance is not something that I want to find myself in. Busi, good morning.
Morning, how are you?
I'm good, thanks. And yourself? Thank you for joining me.
I'm well. I'm sorry about the network.
No, it's not a problem. All right. Okay, so we are discussing car financing today. Okay, first of all, start off by telling us what is the difference in these two terms, car financing and motor vehicle insurance.
Yeah, currently right now it's definitely a good time to buy
Mm-hmm,
anything. It could be property, it could be a car, because the interest rates are very good. They are actually low, very low.
mm-hmm,
So, but you do not want to buy something that you don't need. When I say you don't need, I mean you need a car for a specific reason. If you're
mm-hmm,
buying a car for luxury, then that car must look like luxury. But if you're buying a car to go to work, try buy one that really means that you're getting a car to go to work, you're getting a car to make sure that you're running your business okay. So
mm-hmm.
let it be not a spending that end up costing you a lot with versus what you get back. So if you are getting a car for work, let the work or the money that you get from that be justified to say, okay, I can take 5-10% from my income and
Mm-hmm.
buy a car because it makes sense. It makes sense. I'm gonna be able to make this money back.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Now, what is the difference between a fixed and linked interest rates?
Oh, sorry, Maria.
Hmm.
Hello?
Did did you get the
Sorry,
question?
what's that? Yes, please.
What is the difference between a fixed and linked interest rates?
Oh, okay. So the interest rate normally now, well, normally the banks will give you a way for an interest rate because that actually works better for them. That when things are back to normal, then they can go back to a normal interest rate that works for them in that sense. But then now, if you are going to get a fixed one, it means that you might have to pay a little bit more even now because
Mm,
that is an interest rate that you're going to have for the rest of the time you're paying for your car. So
mm-hmm,
getting a fixed rate is good when you want to budget. So you know that I'm going to pay for how many months, I'm gonna pay this much. This is how my deal is gonna always be like this. But if you
mm-hmm,
take the one that is not fixed, then you save when the saving time, then you might pay more when the payments come back. So most of the time, if you're taking the not fixed one, you actually know that you're gonna pay that thing within the period which favors you, which is the way when the interest rates are low. So if you
mm,
take one that is not fixed, you want to try to squeeze all your payments in the time when that interest rate is actually favoring you, other than paying more later, which then means that you end up paying the same. So it depends on what kind of a budget you have and what kind of plans you have and how long you're going to be having this debt.
mm-hmm. What are some of the mistakes that we make when buying a car through financial assistance or from the bank?
I think we don't read the terms and conditions. There
Mm,
are so many terms and conditions. Now, this one of the ones that you could think that, oh no, everybody's supposed to understand this, is this
yes.
balloon payment at the end. You find that
Yes.
the installment is good, it looks great, you can afford it, but then you just never pay attention to the fact that at the end you cannot own the car unless you pay a certain big lump sum. So
Mm,
try to be less excited. Well, in my case, I think I would be excited and then not look at the all the terms and conditions. Try to take the terms and conditions, go with them home. You don't even have to get a lawyer, but just read through them yourself calmly,
mm,
thinking like it's 20 years and I don't even need this guy anymore. So just read them through the whole maybe night or give yourself a day and then look at all the things. If this actually works for you, if this is actually what you want in terms of those terms and conditions. Because sometimes, a lot of times, people do not negotiate on the terms and conditions and they get the wrong deal. But when you
mm,
find something on the contract, because they want to sell you this car so much, when you say, oh no, I can take the car, but I can't do this, they will always go and redo the term and they would give you uh, without that term. I mean, even in insurance, all the time, never just take insurance because here's the quote and they say you must. This is what we are offering. You always
mm.
have to negotiate the terms and conditions. So you can't negotiate something you don't know. Hence, you must really read them.
Mm-hmm. That's true. I mean, you have to be able to do what works best for you. And if you can't do something, then either talk to them because at the end of the day, they are willing to negotiate because they want to sell their products. So they will sell their product no matter what. So even if it means increasing the number of years that you want to pay, they will do that for you just so that they'll be able to sell their products.
Yes.
Now, who is car financing for? Not everybody can afford to go the car financing route. Like me, for example, working in freelance, and I'm not sure if I'll be able to work. in a day or two if I'll be able to work for next month. And somebody like me can't really take out a car on finance because, first of all, the bank's not going to allow that. But also, I won't be able to pay my way through come 5 years down the line. And what happens if I don't have any work? Yet, we do find a lot of people going down the car finance route and a few months or even years later having their cars repossessed.
Yeah, that is true. And you know, the truth of the matter is that Donna Maria, a person that has a job is set to be secured because they know every month they're gonna get paid this much. But they can still get fired. They can still get
Mhm,
retrenched, which is what's happening right now. So I don't think that a person who is a freelancer should think that they won't be able to afford this. So now
mhm,
the banks do give you an option. Well, now if you own a small business, if you work for yourself, to buy on credit, but obviously they ask a little bit more than they would ask a person with a job, a full-time employment. So they will normally say maybe pay a little bit more, maybe have a uh, less the period, or put a deposit, or there is always something they will ask you to do. So I think when you are in the space of business or freelancing, it's critically and it's very important to be able to have that 6 months buffer of your income in a saving for the sake of knowing that if this month my clients haven't paid in time, if my invoices are going to be 60 days or something, you are going to be able to cover everything that you have. So that means that you will always anyway be available in the planet to do work, which means that you will be paid. So don't think that you are disadvantaged because you're not. Actually, you have more benefits than people who do not have the freedom and the all this that comes a freelance. There's so many benefits to it. But the only thing is that you just get the chance to be a little bit more responsible with your money because you don't have somebody who's taking care of that. Oh, I'll pay you every month. You need to pay
mhm,
yourself every month. So you start to think that way. Then you'll find yourself having projects that will make you have that buffer. So you'll have a big project that will have you have the big buffer. And then you have the buffer and then you're not worried about it. And then you're just okay. You are okay. You can be able to pay a deposit on the car you want, which means that you will pay less anyway on the insurance. A lot of people don't have money to pay on deposits because they have jobs, because they are comfortable. So I guess being a freelancer just gives you that extra challenge in life, which is a good challenge.
mhm. All right. Okay. And for those who can afford getting the cars financed, what kind of credit score does one need, and how can we achieve that credit score?
So with the car, they normally not pass a lot. Obviously, if you're buying a house, they want a little bit um, a better credit score. But I wouldn't give you a certain number because it depends with a lot of other variables other than just the credit score. But
Mhm,
what you want to know is that you must just make sure if you want to buy a car that you give yourself 6 months of being good in terms of paying all the debts that you have because normally they look at the 6 months period. So
mhm,
in the last 6 months, have you been paying everything? Have you not jumped anything? So your credit for that 6 months is what will determine if they give you the new thing or not. And obviously affordability. Because your credit score can be high, but then they look at your affordability and it doesn't look like you can afford this, which the law says they shouldn't give you something you can afford, even if your credit score is high. So there is a lot of other things that are at play. So hence I was saying, when you're getting a car, look for a car that makes sense to you. More like get a car that makes you money than you losing money.
mhm. Yeah, it is. We are in this COVID situation, and then I still see a lot of people are posting their brand new cars, luxury vehicles. I'm like, oh, all right, so that's nice. thumbs up to you. If you can afford it, then that's good. If you can't afford it, well, I don't think it's a good idea for you to be taking up a car if that you cannot afford, and then later on want to try and damage the car or run away or get away just because of trying to keep that image. It's a really sad state of affairs, if you ask me. But thank you so much for your time, Busi. And those who can take out car finance, do so. And if you can't, stay away.
Yeah. Thank you so much. And I'm available on my social media platform. So if anybody needs help with this kind of decisions, you send me a DM on Instagram, and I'm also on YouTube and on Facebook.
All right. So awesome. Thank you and have a lovely day. That was Busi Selesho, certified financial advisor, money coach, and author, giving us some tips on what to do, how to purchase a car through bank financing, without having to be tied up in all of these debts. And yes, guys, like I said, also, if you can't afford it, don't go for it. If you can afford it, then go for it. If you don't need it, don't buy it. Don't buy something just because you feel like you've got the money now. You are in lockdown and you haven't um, used your money. You want to spend it. You want to treat yourself to something. Save it or invest that money, and you'll see that it will help you out more in the long term than right now in the short term. Anyways, you aren't allowed to go anywhere far. So what's the point of purchasing that luxury vehicle that you don't really need right now? If you already have a vehicle that's taking you from point A to point B, then kudos to you and use that vehicle. Continue using that vehicle and save your money. Invest your money and buy an auction car. Well, obviously, also with auction cars, those are a bit tricky as well. So perhaps we should discuss that as well. You are listening to the Mara Mukunda Show on Salam Media. Make sure that you leave your comments, questions, and queries in the comments section, and we'll get our financial advisor to answer them anytime. But for now, just stay with us. We'll be right back.
You are listening to Mariam Makwanda live on Salam Media.
Dad, well, I've been chatting with an investment broker today and...
Broker? Did the broker tell you that our economy is a mess? There's bushfires in Australia, America wanted World War III, and now the coronavirus is traveling around the world.
Well, I also thought about purchasing some crypto.
Crypto? What's that, like another pyramid scheme? I don't trust what I can't see.
There's an apartment in Belize